All right. Come on in the room, everybody. And then my printer started making its own little noise over there. Welcome, everybody. Come on. We'll get started in a few moments as you're coming in. If you don't mind introducing yourself, if you want to. Ooh, make sure. I always try to share this, and then something weird happens when I do it, and then I will share it after. Well, welcome whoever joins in. Come on in the room.
Hello, Jessica. Welcome.
Hey, Jessica.
I know, I'm excited.
So I'm really excited. Me and Lindsay were just speaking offline about just about how much people don't know about benefits. And me too, Jessica. I'm like excited about this because I mean, all of us, we can know more as vets out there. We don't know everything, and depending on when you get out or if you're about to get out and you're transitioning, um, it's how to get the information, and sometimes it's an inundation of information. It's like, where do I begin and where do I start and what applies to me? So like I was telling Lindsay, like when I got out, we didn't have so many social media platforms out there giving us information. And again, now that we have information overload, it's like,
Like,
how do
where do I go?
and then apply it towards my situation. So I'm so excited for this 3-part series, and Lindsay giving us the lowdown on what is applies to us in more of a simplistic way, and then you can go out there and of course get more information. But I think that all of us need this. Thank you for sharing, Jessica. Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate that. So we're going to get started. We're going to have you introduce yourself again. This is not your first time to this platform, but this is your first time in this capacity as a veterans advocate. So let you introduce yourself.
All right. I am Lindsay Kinslow. I am retired Army. So I retired out in 2016.
Mhm.
And through that journey, I realized that I wanted to be a veteran advocate. At that time, I just didn't know, what it was called. I just know that I had a hard time, and if I had a hard time,
Yeah,
so many other people had a hard time. So before me, next to me, with me, after me. So I said, no, 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 no. So when I got out of the military, I started volunteering, using the knowledge that I gained from, helping myself along the way. I started volunteering as a veteran advocate, and I'm like, this is my calling, this is my passion, this is where I am. I was like, this is, my next life. So I actually have been in that capacity for about 6 years now. So I did work, in that capacity full time where I had extensive training and I worked, alongside of the VA. So I, am very well versed in the law. And I understand, what it takes to get service connected. I understand the frustration because I was there.
yeah,
And so I'm here to help with that frustration. If I can lessen it, then, I've done my job.
awesome. We already got a question. Do you help those who have already been rated?
Yes. So, in my capacity, my former capacity as a veteran advocate, yes. So I do provide, free information, and I appreciate the Empowerment Firm for this platform, because it has really, really, been weighing on me. How do I get this information out to the masses as a single person, as a solo veteran trying to make a difference? How do I get this information out? So, and I've been blessed with this platform to do so. So I don't directly help with that. However, I have information to guide you through that process.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get started. So take us on this journey. So today's session, we're talking about 7 ways to service connection. So what does that mean? And take us on this journey with you.
Okay, so I decided, how do we start this out, and I was like, foundation. It all starts with the foundation. So a lot of veterans file their claims and they don't understand actually what they're doing. So they don't understand the law, they don't understand the process, they don't understand what it takes to get service connection, right? A lot of people file their claim and they're like, I got this rating for myself. It's easy, but they just so happen to have all the right paperwork, right? Not necessarily that they knew that they were supposed to have this along the way, right? And so the longer that you're out in the military, the harder it is, right? So after 365 days out of the military, it's like, ooh, it's going to be hard, right, to get these benefits started. So the foundational is how. What are they looking for, right? So there's 7 ways to service connection. I will put out a disclaimer here. All of this is, factual information from, the law, right? So I will reference the law there. I'm just here to break it down into the language that we speak. I'm your average everyday veteran. I don't have a law degree, although I had to step my game up in that capacity. I don't have a law degree. But with my passion and my drive, I'm like, I have to decipher this so I can explain it to everybody else, right?
Exactly.
So, through my training, the last 6 years, I realized, that there are 7 ways to service connection, right? So, all this is out of 38 CFR, which is called, I call it the VA Bible. So that is, the law of how the VA operates and awards, service connection, right? So according to like 38 CFR, what is service connection? So it means the facts shown by evidence established that a particular injury or disease resulting in disability was incurred with service in the armed forces or pre-existing such service was aggravated. So that is, the law terminology. What that means is that simply that if it's connected to service and there's paperwork saying, medical documents saying that, and then, you can file for a possible service connection. So the 7 ways, this is where it's important because a lot of people, depending on your branch of service, going to the doctors like unheard of, right? So you could like literally fall off a building and be like, "Oh, I'm okay." So right? Drink water. Let me get my ibuprofen. And, your battle buddy's gonna like wrap you up, and you're good, right? So a lot of us didn't go to the doctor. So here we are, 7, 8 years after you get out of the military, and your back hurts, and you've had surgery, and you're like, oh, you file a claim, and you're mad now. You're upset because you got denied because you don't understand that you did not go to the doctor while you were on active duty. So there's no way that 8 years after service that they know, right? Not saying that there's no way to develop that claim, but that will relieve the frustration just knowing the different ways to service connection, right? So I'll run through this. So the first one is direct service connection, and this is found in CFR 38 CFR 3.304, and this is after January 1947. So this is any chronic illness or disease that's occurred while on active duty service, right? So as long as it's documented and there is a medical diagnosis, then you can for sure file for that. And the reason being is when you come into the military, you are determined to come in of sound mind, right? So you're good. If you didn't have a medical waiver, so shall I say, so you're 100% healthy, right? So anything that happens during that time period that you are on active duty, that is, the direct service connection. So then we have the aggravation or the pre-service disability, right? So this is under 38 CFR 3.306, and I am referencing this because this is what you'll get. This is the what you get in the mail, right? That
Right.
that you get in the mail with all these numbers and all these like court cases and stuff. Like they're telling you a story, you just don't know what it is. So I am referencing the actual, the law. So where to find it, so you can look on your own, right?
And then you can use this against them when you have
Yes,
documentation
yes,
like
absolutely.
this. So everybody that's going to be listening or listening now will be listening. I don't know. Can I send this out to everybody? I don't know how I would do that, but is there a way that I can get this to them or no?
I will. So at the end, I'll leave the contact form.
Okay.
Where yeah, so everybody who is interested, as we go through this, I am going to send out our notes.
Okay. Awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah, through email. So I am going to be doing that.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go.
Since I have that legal mind, like this is like your burden of proof. You like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is going on with me. This is what category it falls under. This is what the regulation states in this. And then you can build a case upon, because I'm in, well, if everybody probably knows that if you guys been watching me enough, I went in with a waiver. I went my GI Jane self went
Yes.
in with a fused spine and steel rods in my back.
Right.
I I I I think I still have that thing in me that is like I'm not injured, but I feel the pain because I have another injury that's service connected that
Right.
definitely has aggravated the back. But
Right.
I don't go to the doctors because I still have that mindset that I'm good. And
Right.
something I
We talked about this.
you have
We talked about this.
and I don't know what it's going to take for me. I really don't,
Yeah.
and we'll talk offline about that. But that's where I am because I was telling Lindsay, it was when we talked the last time. I'm literally looking at this form of my doctor's notes and everything that happened to me when I got the surgery, and then I have a whole other issue, of my service connection, and
Right.
thinking about looking at both of them and seeing how that could aggravate and
Right.
see why I do have these issues. And I haven't put in that claim or put in the claim in a sense of how I'm supposed to and how I'm supposed to back it up with that evidence.
Right.
Let me get off from that. But
Yes, and so off of the conversation that we've previously had, you weren't really aware that there was a such thing as aggravation, right? So after, based off of our conversation, I was like, you, it's possible that it was aggravated due to service. And you were thinking because you came in with it, that was it.
which is it. It's just what it
But it's
is.
not.
Yeah.
Yep, but it's not. So, that's 38 CFR 3.306. So if you have a pre-existing injury, right, that you got a medical waiver for prior to you getting in the military, and they said it's fine. And it's gotten worse beyond the natural progression. So that's the key right there, beyond the natural progression, right? Then you are entitled to, say disability. Well, you can at least file. And that's what I was telling you. I was putting it to you like, no, you have medical documentation, if explaining, the progression, yes, you can file a claim. So, it's all about knowing the law, what to put in there. And we were actually be talking about that next Saturday, what to put in there, right?
That's what you said. It's hard getting a service connect. And it's going back to what you said, Lindsay. She says it's hard getting service connected. I feel like when I got out, I got out and they gave you a percentage because they were kicking me out medical. I
Right.
got injured. So they gave me, and I left alone. But it depends on what that is and what you're trying to prove. Like I did all mine myself and got to the percentage I am right now. People would say that's good. But if you're going back to what you're saying, if it's not in your documentation, if it's not in your medical record, and I've heard a lot of this, and I actually have experienced this. The only reason why I had some of my medical records is because I have a brother that's 10 years older than me. And when I went in, he said, if you ever go to, go get any checkups, any medical, anything, make a copy of it. And he was like, make a copy of everything, keep everything. He said, because sometimes when you get out, things seem to disappear. And literally, when I had all this stuff, I had my own documentation, but when I actually got the documentation, when I requested my medical record, it was like this big, it was like nothing in there. And then they said something happened where the medical documents at some location, that location caught on fire, something like that. And then I've heard people that were stationed somewhere in Africa, they could not find theirs. So always, she said, Jessica, all mine is in my medical records for my deployments. Well, you definitely need to. I don't know if y'all can talk offline and you can direct her in the right direction.
Oh, for sure. I don't do that. However, there are great, nonprofits around here that do that. One in particular, my former employer, awesome. I mean, I'm biased, maybe, I don't know, but it is the best organization out there.
Maybe you can, Jessica, if you can link up with Lindsay and she can get you in that direction.
Yes, for sure.
Contact.
For sure. But in these questions right here is why I'm like, we have to go to the basics. We have to break down the law to understand what we are entitled to and how to get it.
Yes, because you need all of your. I know a little bit about Jessica's situation, and that's for her to tell. But yeah, you get all of you. If you serve, you got injured, you got situations from your service. And it's so funny. I say that, and then I don't do the thing. But don't do as my example, but do as I say, like your parents say. Don't do as I do as I say.
Right.
If you definitely need to reach out and get more help on your claim, Jessica. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yes. Yeah. So we've, just to recap, we've talked about, the direct service connection. We talked about the aggravation. Now we're on to the third one, which is presumptive, right? So, and this is out of 38 CFR 3.307, and this is after January 1st, 1947. Majority of the people that I know have gotten out after then, so that's why we're there. So what this is, some of us have been stationed in some, not so pleasant environments that have, cause detriment to our health. So the VA, has recognized, some of these symptoms or injuries, disabilities, if you will, as service connection, right? So I'll use, Vietnam veterans as, or the Vietnam era as the example. So the Agent Orange, right? So the VA has a list of examples of disabilities that they are like, if this happened, to you, you know, within a certain amount of time after you return, then they grant service connection for it, right? So of course, you know, you have to have the medical diagnosis, but there's a whole list, and then, you know, even with Southwest Asia, you know, there's a whole list, you know, with that too. So that's what it is with presumptives. Um, and then the next one is secondary. So this one is important as well. Like, you know, all of them are important, but this one is common, just like direct, right? So this is the secondary to your already existing service connection. So what this is if a disability arises from something that you're already getting compensation for, then you can file for compensation. So I'll use, you know, myself as an example. So I'm service connected for my back, right? But I also have radiculopathy, which is the numbness and the tingling, bilateral, going down my lower extremities. So that is secondary
Yeah.
to the back, right? So most of us who have back problems, it takes a while to figure out exactly what it is, right? So you'll think you have a messed up hip or whatever. So by the time you actually get a diagnosis and figure out it's radiculopathy, you might be out of the military, right? Right.
Right.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, I hurt my back in 2006. 10 years later, I got out, and I was just, I think I got that diagnosis on my way out the door
Wow.
because I thought it was hip pain and this pain and that pain, and you know, it wasn't. You know, and my feet and just all this, but it was radiculopathy. So you know, had I gotten it, you know, when I got out of the military, then now I could have went back and said, oh, this radiculopathy is secondary to my back. You know, with the medical documentation, you know, I could file that claim.
Yeah, that's what happened with my foot injury, the injury that got me out. I got neuropathy in my foot for that, which is based almost the same, a numbness or and a high sensitivity. Like it's just ridiculous in one foot. If you touch it, it's like it's not a hurting pain. It's just a highly overly sensitive that
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be there. Like it's just really overly sensitive. So
Yeah. And Jessica, I see your comment, and for real, we need to connect after this because I need to talk to you offline, and you know, provide you some guidance because I understand and I hear what you're saying through these words. Okay, I completely understand, so I didn't want to not acknowledge that. Okay, um, so then we have number 5. Which is paired organs. Okay. So in extremities. So this is out of 38 CFR 3.383. So this is essentially if you are service connected for like your left eye and you know you don't have vision, and then you strain your right eye and now your right eye you don't have vision, so that you can file a claim for that and you get service connection for the paired organs. Yes. And the same goes for extremities. So like if it's your hand or your foot, you know, the same applies for that. So number 6, this, you know, is 38 CFR 3-358. So this is if you get how do I say it? So this is if you are in a VA facility getting care. So if you're at a clinic or you're at a hospital, and their negligence, put it like that, their negligence results in a disability, then you can file for service connection for that. There's a whole process for that. But if this has happened to you, I recommend that you explore this option because many do not know that this is a possibility.
I got a question about that.
Yeah.
So when I got my surgery out of I had my first surgery, um, and I had issues. I want to say 3 years later, so I opted to go. Um, how allow you to go out to a civilian doctor, and
Mhm.
that civilian doctor, but I have to look at my paperwork because I don't think he put it in the paperwork. He said that the surgery they gave me didn't even make sense. They should have never gave me that. That was a surgery for a developing foot, and since I'm a grown woman, my foot ain't growing no more. That's why the it was a device that they put in my foot. It detached and it lodged in my foot, and
Oh,
it
wow.
rotated. So I that's where the neuropathy and all this other stuff came from, because from his point of view, that was not a surgery an adult foot should have had, with the situation that I had going on. And because of that, and then on his end, they did the, the x-ray, and they said it was on this side, and then they went in and it wasn't on the side that they whole messed up situation. So like
Yeah.
it's just nerve damage, all of that. So does that fall into number six? Like,
Um, it possibly could. That would require, actually looking at the records.
mhm,
But it would be worth exploring, just to see,
yeah,
because there's more layers to it and more components to just that botched surgery, right? So I would definitely look at it, because there's other lasting effects surrounding it that might have stemmed from it. So I would definitely look into 38 CFR 3-358. Yeah, and so if and then also the 38 USC 1151. So this is a statute that allows the veteran to receive compensation. So this is essentially a lawsuit. So yeah, because you can actually file a lawsuit, right, with an attorney, or you can file for service connection, right? So, and I won't get in, because that's all whole legal, legal
right,
journey on several different platters. So I would just, leave it at that. You can, explore that option. So, 1151 might be more appropriate, for you, as opposed to actually, filing a lawsuit. So, but the option is there, and people don't even know about it
right. They
at
don't.
all. Yep. And so the seventh one is through employment services, or employment training through the VA. So a lot of people don't even know that you can go through, a program if you're disabled and you can't work and stuff. So there's all these resources and stuff within the VA that we don't know. But one of them is, um, you can go through like on the job training. So let's say you are going through for a mechanic and you drop a wrench on your foot,
Mhm.
and you break your foot or whatever. So you can actually file a claim for that, for
Right.
service connection, right? And so that is under 38 CFR 3.358. So it's under the same as the VA care. Um, so yeah, so that is all seven of service connection.
That is that is so good. This was a lot of information that.
Yeah, so I'll recap, so what I used is the 38 CFR. Um, if you Google veteran disability 38 CFR, it will pull up, right?
Mhm.
And this is the VA Bible. This is, how the VA operates, how they set your percentages, how, like, what symptoms you have to have for what rating. So if you're trying to figure out if you got 0% back and you think you should have got 20, then you hop in that 38 CFR and you look and you see what symptoms apply, and if it's accurate or not. And if it's
Mhm.
not, then you go right on back, like, no, no, no. You know,
Right.
you Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that either, that you can file for an increase. So a lot of the older veterans, they don't even know. They get out, right? And they have like a rating of like 20% for like 40 years. And they have no clue that they could have,
Yeah.
increased.
Um, well, you already.
So so this is like so necessary. And the more I talk to veterans, the more I'm like, wow.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm just so thankful for this platform to be able to speak to the veterans and help guide us through
Yeah.
this process, because it's muddy waters.
I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for us connecting because
Yeah,
it's needed. It's totally needed. I'm excited about the
yes,
series because, like I said, just in like this is what for a mind like mine, the legal analytical mind, this makes sense to me because I know what to do. I know how to speak the language now that I
hmm,
need to do what I need to get done. This makes sense to me, and
right.
everybody different things make sense to me, but for me this makes sense. I'm like, oh, we got regulations and we got that.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but for us normal folk, right? We need to break it down a little bit, right? So I'm here to put it in plain English, like this is what it means.
Right.
We're not, yeah, no, it's not, we're not speaking Latin or anything like that. So just to recap, we talked about service connection, like what it is. We talked about the direct service connection, that is whatever happened to you after you got in the military, because when you join the military without a medical waiver, you are assumed to be of sound mind, right? So then we talked about the aggravation or the pre-service disability. That is when you come in to the military with a pre-existing condition, injury. If it was aggravated due to military service, longer, beyond the natural progression, you can file for service connection. Then we have the presumptives, and that is when we are out doing what we do in these crazy environments. There's some disabilities that come about just being in the elements. So the VA has acknowledged, certain things, and that is where the presumptive service connection comes into play. And then we have the secondary service connection. And this is when we are already service connected for something and something else happens, another disability or injury results as a direct result of the service connected disability that you already have in place. So I gave the example of, if you have back, then you pretty much, I'm not gonna say everybody, but the sciatica or the radiculopathy is there, right? And sometimes it takes a long time to figure out what's what.
Right.
So now we have to file a secondary claim. So that's where that comes in. We have the paired organs and extremities. That is when, we're service connected for one eye and then the other eye, goes bad. So we get service connection for both. Same goes for like a hand or a foot. Then we have the VA hospital care or treatment. So that's when, the negligence of the VA has resulted in a disability. And then number 7, we have when you get hurt on job training through a VA employment training program. So that is the recap of the 7 ways for service connection. Excuse me.
All right. I love that. I want to thank you
Yes, do you have
so.
any questions?
Um, I think we had so much along the way. I'm sorry. She kept on
Yeah,
interrupting. I do have one. Going back to the VA hospital care, what if there is a death related to it? Can the family, do you know anything about that? Can the
I
family?
do, and I was trying to stay away from that because, just the surface. But yes, and you actually can find it under the same um, regulation.
Yeah, it's so
But
interesting.
yes. Yes, to
Yeah.
answer to just, yes, but I also, I'm putting out this information, but you also need to be represented. So
Yeah.
you need to speak to somebody who actually knows
Yeah.
law, right?
Yeah.
So not only do you need to do your own due diligence and like look this stuff up, but you do need to consult a professional before you
Hmm.
fire off at the VA. Because that'll end with in frustration for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to answer that, yes, you can. The family can, yes.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I'm thankful. So I want you to just give us all the information. If you need, just want to talk to you or see if you can, steer them in the right direction on who to talk to, where do they reach you at?
Yeah. So the email is blueprint the number 2 benefits at
No.
gmail.com. And then there's the Facebook page that I established. So the blueprint to benefits, I'll tell you how it was created. If I have a few moments.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
last year I had to take um, I had to make a hard decision and leave the position that I was in the capacity that I was in. So it really, really messed with me, and I'm like, how do I still serve veterans? And here I am leaving because of my own health issues, and I'm still like, how do I still talk to veterans, because I was so used to like the last 3-4 years like talking to thousands of veterans, going and doing all these presentations and stuff. So then, that's gone. And so now I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to do? I want to educate the veterans. I want to educate veterans on, the benefits. So here comes, Blueprint to Benefits. And it actually just sat
Mm.
because I wanted to make sure that I was in a capacity that I could serve, right?
Oh,
Because I don't want to just, start like show up and then disappear. And then
yeah.
that's where I was at.
Mhm.
So, showing up like this in this capacity, it takes a lot, right?
Yeah.
So now Blueprints to Benefits was created, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I was just like, what do I do with it? And so I just have the Facebook page so people can like it, and follow along. And then when the opportunity presents for something like this,
Yeah.
then that they'll have that connection already. Because for me, I'm like, it's go time.
Yeah.
Go time, right? So now I was like, I have to have a way to keep people
Engaged.
and get here, right? So that's why I have that Facebook page, that's why I have the contact form, and that's why I have the email for blueprints to benefits, even though it's not an actual business.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can reach you. I put the email
Okay, great.
in the chat, so you can reach Lindsay there. Like she is not doing claims, but she can lead you in the right direction to
Absolutely.
to get your questions answered and how to get those claims done.
Absolutely.
And we'll put the rest of the information in the chat. So if you need to reach out to her, you'll have that. So I will put that in once I get this on. I won't be going back and forth. You guys have
No
any
problem. But
questions?
yeah, so I'm just here to help veterans and empower veterans, give them the resources that they need to create the lifestyle that they deserve, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
mission.
Want and deserve. You notice I didn't say need.
Right?
I said want and deserve, right?
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I love it. Anybody that knows me in this capacity, they know like, oh, she could go on forever. She's going to smile about it. It's my passion. I even pitched the civilian the other day about the importance of filing a disability claim. And I was like, I know you're not a veteran, but I know you know somebody. And I know the information that I just gave you, you can tell them.
Right. Like pass it on. Pass it on.
Right? He was like, thank you. He was like, actually, he was like, actually, my brother is a veteran. And I was like, well, great.
I love it when people are passionate about what they do, because you genuinely have a love for people, and that
Right.
oozes out of you. I love it. That, like I said, I feel like in this season of my life, I'm drawing in like a magnet those type of people.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that, like I said, we are able to meet, we were able to collaborate,
Yes.
and able to help people out in the process. And that's what it's all about, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't file the claims, but the whole concept to the benefits is I want veterans to know that there is more to to the benefits than the disability claim, right? The compensation is great, right? To be compensated in some manner for your disabilities. However, there's more to it.
And we will be talking about that.
Yeah, it's like there's so much more to it. There's so much more opportunity out here for veterans. We just don't know where it is, right?
That's the beauty of having someone like, because everything is not everybody's expertise. That's why I get too, because everybody's not that type that's going to do their due diligence. Sometimes they just don't know where to start. It's not them just being lazy. Some people just don't know where to start. And like I said, now it has you just get a whole bunch of information. It's information overload.
Right. Yes.
If you're not that type of person, it reminds me, because once I hate going shopping, it reminds me of going into like a, what is it, like a Ross or them places, and you got to sort through
everything. Right. Yes.
I hate it. I want to go in and find out something.
Yes. And I'm like, okay.
Thank you, Jessica.
People can say, oh, there's a lot of people doing this. That's true. But there's only one me, and you can only get it this way, right? By one person. So
the thing is, you have, everybody has their people that are drawn to them.
Right.
There's plenty of people but you can speak in a way, or your vibe is just in a way that are drawn to you. So I don't care if 10,000 people are doing it.
Right.
You know, and shoot, those 10,000 people might not find you, but you're in the space where we're finding you. We met because of somebody else.
I know. And our meeting wasn't even about disability, but it was like, so, and then we wound up talking, like, oh, to help you and your dad.
Exactly.
Who is an older veteran who, is just now cracking the code and needs help.
70-something,
Right. Yeah.
So back to what you said, like these older veterans, they just don't know. And especially him, like, people, they have their health information on the computer and they can log in and send it over. He don't know nothing about that.
Right.
He's not trying to, he's like, let me go down here and talk to these people. Now I got to go up there to Cleveland Clinic and go print this information. I'm like, you gonna go to Cleveland Clinic? Like, but that's where they're at. That is their generation. And for them, and every generation, because the younger millennials and the other ones, they a lot more savvy than us, because I was like, I don't know what this is. So everybody has their bottleneck, I guess I'm saying. And, and thank God for people like you that can walk us through the place. Like, you did this today for this information clicked for me because I'm analytical and I'm like, okay, I can tell you on page so and so of the 38. That's me. Like that's what I need to know all day because once I got that, it comes to life for me,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I can go back and like if I need to still get myself to get it in my mindset whether I'm filing this claim or not. But now I understand what that looks like. I
Right. Right.
and,
Yes. Right. Yeah, you do. A clear picture.
yeah, it's a clear picture now.
Yep.
It really is, and it's just yeah. I ain't gonna get into that, but thank you so much. This has
Yes.
been so good. So, what is our next one again? Where's my stuff at? So,
So our
April
next one is Saturday, May 14th.
14th,
Yes.
and I can't remember our topic. That's sad. I will be putting out the event this week.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about like what you need in your claim.
Okay, that's you hear
Yeah.
that? We talk about what we need in the claim,
Yeah.
and
So
we need that.
yep. So the 3-part series, you know how I put it together, staying real foundational is how do I do it? What do I need to put in there? Now that I have a rating, what do I get?
So that's beautiful.
Right?
That's what we need. Simplicity. Give it
Yeah.
to me plain. Like give it to
Mhm.
me plain.
Yes.
And that's what I feel like I said at the beginning. Now there's an influx of information. When I got out, there wasn't this. We didn't have all these social media platforms telling us what to do and where to go. Now we got it. Now there's too much, and
Now
now
too much.
now
And right, it's too much. And I'm analytical too, but you know, I'm all about facts, right? So
yeah,
that's why I revert back to the law because you
right.
know that when you go back to this section, that what
Mhm.
Lindsay said is exactly what is right here,
Right here.
the VA law, right?
It's
Like
like that.
because there's so much out here, you don't know what's what anymore.
Right. And going back, like you said, the law, that's the facts. This is
Right.
what gets you to the result. That's in any type of law. If
Absolutely.
you have precedents in law, which we are fighting this week, but anyway, we're not gonna get on that. If you have precedents in law, and this is the law that establishes that precedent, this is how you get what you want. Like I said, that's the way I think.
Yes.
So I appreciate this.
Yes.
And oh yeah. So where will you be placing this information? The information that you just talked to us about. Is there a place that everybody can have?
Yeah, so I'll be dropping the contact form link because you know this job is very uh demanding, I guess. So just to keep things streamlined, you know, I do have a contact form and I do have, you know, an email. So whoever you know, fills out the contact form will be on the email list.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. So when this comes out, they'll get that email. So also when, you know, this post is, you know, when it posts to YouTube, so they'll have the link to, you know, the empowerment form firm, like all that will be in the email. So they'll have all the notes that we've discussed thus far.
So for everybody, we're going to play, or Lindsay's going to place the contact form link in
Yes.
the chat. Fill that out, and she's going to give you the information that we talked about today, and then more information on all the forms and information she's going to go throughout this series. She'll send that to you. So stay in touch with her. Well, get on the contact, fill that out, and she'll stay in touch with you.
Yeah, you can yeah, so you can actually you know, follow the Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
I do have you know, connections with other people who are here. They're like, train me, I want to learn, you know, like please.
Yeah.
So you know, while I go through all this, I'm helping other people. I do have, you know, people who are, you know, just as educated in this as me who are willing to help as well. So yeah, so there's a, you know, as long as it's not any personal medical, you
Mhm.
know, deep here's my records type
Yeah.
stuff, 'cause, you know, I don't do that part. But So as long as it's like that, yeah, we can help. So, and the reason why there's several reasons why I don't, but I'm here to empower the veteran, right?
Yeah.
And if you rely on somebody else, there's no empowerment, right? So when you're laying in the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like, oh, as we do, hey, you know what? My back. I want to increase it. Now you can literally go online, right? And
Yeah.
do it yourself.
Right.
You don't have to wait,
Yeah.
2 weeks for somebody to get back to you to help you with this. So that is the reason. So I'm like, no, I'll show you how to file on your own online, because that's essentially what we are too.
Yeah. Like
Um,
say you teach people how to fish.
yeah. Yes.
But
Yes.
that's the empowerment. Like you said, the empowerment. Once you have the information, you're empowered not only to help yourself get to where you need to be, you can help others around you.
That's
Because
right.
it's just it's like perpetual. It keeps on going. So that's what we're doing. That's what the empowerment firm is all about.
Yes.
That Lindsay is on here. We're going to keep on giving you information that you need. Uh,
Yeah. Before we go though, we need to talk about the shirt that you were wearing.
Oh yeah. So this is my ally t-shirt. It is on the empowermentfirm.com. We have these shirts and we have the hoodies. And it was so funny. I put a post out yesterday of about I love my scars, because it was something that I did in the formation of the empowerment firm years ago. And everybody liked it, so I have shirts that can be bought with that on the empowerment firm. I just uploaded them today on my site. Oh,
Nice.
thank you,
Yeah.
Jessica. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I am challenging everybody, to include myself, to buy a
Oh,
shirt so we can wear it on the last day of the series.
that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
won't it?
That would
We
be
have to support everybody, and you're doing a beautiful thing.
thank,
You have showcased so many amazing, veteran women on your platform.
thank you.
So yeah. And so and I am actually wearing, I know I said blueprint to benefits, but I am actually wearing my company shirt,
That's an amazing.
Optimal Business Solutions, right? Because remember, I told you there's more to a disability rating and a compensation, right?
Mhm.
I am building
Yeah,
my business
yeah.
and my brands based off of my veteran status. And what I mean is, I'm going through a nonprofit who I went through a business course for free, and, foundational course, pitch classes, finances, how to, raise money for your business, all this important stuff I'm using, I'm getting for free because I am a veteran.
Card.
Hi. And Miss Nana Carr is how we met.
Yes, actually, she is the link on how we met.
Yes, she's a beautiful
Thank you.
soul. She stays linking beautiful masterpieces together. She just did one. She
Yeah.
just helped somebody out. Yes.
So
Like at
yeah,
the last second too.
right. I
Yes,
love
yes,
it.
yes.
She said she's at the bathroom. Rather, she creeps in. Well, we appreciate you creeping in, lady. And
Well,
just
thanks for creeping.
in the challenge. She's Jessica. I met a year ago, and she has been like, keep an eye on her. She's actually in the process of writing her first book.
Oh, nice. Jessica, I'm a published author.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's doing a lot of things, and she just actually went to her she had what am I trying to say, a whole anniversary, because she had a why am I slipping words? She brought together ladies last year, and put together and basically was able to tell her story last year and was very nervous about doing it. And then today, last week, she brought together a whole event and created this whole event for veteran women. And the change in her from last year to this year, and
Oh,
she's more confident in speaking
nice.
story. And yeah, 1 year anniversary. Yeah. Um, that was this year. So she's in the process of writing. Actually, a book series. She's starting the first one, so she can get used to it. She's getting out of her comfort zone and speaking her truth and building legacy for her and her daughter. So I
Yeah.
commend her for being able to put herself out there, because she's gone before the house, the Texas House, to speak her story and getting bills in place, and she's going to be
Oh, Jessica, we need to talk because the legislative side is where I'm at too. We need to
the
talk.
Senate in the House, she said, in Austin. So yeah,
Yeah,
she did that scared. I'm saying this for people that are going to be looking at this. Sometimes you're not going to be in your comfort zone.
at all.
She had a purpose, and she wanted to make be the change. She did it scared. She did, and now she consistently is doing things out of her comfort zone, knowing that she's making a mark within this community. So I commend you, Jessica. I
Yes,
see you and getting
yes,
ready to go before a congressman again. Yes,
yes.
I,
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
she,
Yes,
she's doing it. So you two link up, Jessica and Lindsay. You two link up some way and
yes,
this conversation going, because yeah, that will be good.
yes.
I am when I say I'm excited, I'm just so happy that I'm able to, like, we're all doing this. It's like we're the brokers within each in our space. It's like, okay,
Yes,
we'll put together these relationships and see how we can help. But I think with just in this community of women, what I'm trying to do with an empowerment firm in itself is we want real change, but we can't do that separately.
no,
Everybody is like the link to something. We are each other's other piece of puzzle piece to this beautiful masterpiece. So it's not it's we don't have to be competitive. We got to step on each other's shoes. We ain't got to do anything like that. We just can help each other out,
absolutely.
and that's how I feel. So
Yes, absolutely. And that's what, I'm using both of my businesses for, empowerment. So yeah, and I am so thankful for your platform that, actually been able to showcase both. But, I'm really, really excited about, just being able to have this platform to speak to the veterans. So I really, really thank you. And I know, a lot of veterans thank you. And I know we spoke last time. I was like, I don't do lives. But this one, I'm like blasting it off. Like, please share. Here's the YouTube. Subscribe. Get the word out. It's three parts. Like, because I know we need it. Especially after this week, I got at least,
it's been a tough week.
I got about 10 text messages or, by different veterans just asking different questions that pertain to, these three.
Mhm. Thank
So,
you, Jessica.
yes, she does. She's awesome.
Aw,
She does.
I just am passionate about y'all ladies, which makes it easy for me. So ladies make it easy for me, and then thank God in return I'll make it easy for you.
Yes. So much easier. So much easier. And I was just like, Lord, please, like, let my thoughts be clear. Let me be at ease. Let me, like, get this out.
Girl, you're doing fine. This is needed. So
Yeah.
again, the process we're gonna Lindsay's gonna put the link. There's a contact form link. She's going to send you the information about what she just spoke on. I'm trying to give that right there. And then we'll go from there, because we got 2 more sessions, and this is going
Yes, we do. Now, if anybody has, anything that, any topics they would like to discuss, you can actually bring it up. I'm open to everything and anything to talk about as long as it's surface stuff and it's not individualized.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear that. Just like I said, reach out to her. Aw, y'all so sweet. She's out.
Yes. You're awesome.
Aw, thank you, Jessica.
Yes. Nana says, doing it, boo.
Thank you,
Yes,
Nana.
she is.
Why she's sneaking out of her,
Uh-huh.
her events.
I'm telling her daughter. It's like, no.
And this last shout at Nina, she has been like, I love people that just come in with good energy. You spoke on her before, but I just wanted to speak for myself. People that genuinely come in with good energy and genuinely just are genuine people.
Yes.
Sadly, it's hard to find, and that's why I'm glad that I feel like I'm drawing in the creme de la creme. I really do, and I'm going to keep on speaking that because I feel like I'm drawing in good, genuine people that are doing it from their hearts. They're just not doing it just to make money. And we need to make money. I ain't gonna say that. We need to make our money because that's how we get genuine change too. We need to have our money. But I'm sick of talking about the people that are doing it from the heart and they're
Right.
just good people. So I just a shout out to all these beautiful ladies that are doing the
Yes.
same thing.
Yes.
Never mind. I'm about to pull my little pull my ponytail out through my anyway, on that note, so we're gonna get off, but we will see y'all next week.
Yes, we will. I will actually be in Georgia, so next week, but I'm showing up.
Okay.
I'm showing up, and you'll get the good word. But I will be in Georgia, so the time is kind of flexible because I'm going to be there for a charity event, and then the following week I can't do it because I'll be doing service project in Atlanta too. So, but yeah, we'll be in touch about the time for Saturday, the 14th.
Okay, yo, so we'll let you guys know once we get the time solidified. We'll send that invite out. You'll get it. And as you know, I do 2 invites. I do one on the Facebook, and then I throw that one out there that tells you the StreamYard information. So, yes. Now, everything is true. You a softie, but we love you, girl.
We
And
do.
on that note, you guys have a wonderful, amazing day and a wonderful, amazing weekend. And until the next live.
Yeah, and happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mommies out there.
Yes.
Y'all get some rest.
Please, live it up, celebrate, because you guys don't take enough time.
Right. Happy Mother's Day, mommies. We appreciate all of you guys. So have an amazing week, and we'll see you on the next live.
All right. Bye-bye.